You're watching Majesty of Bharat, a journey through blood, fort, and freedom, where legends breathe once more. Every story you hear is rooted in real Indian history.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're taking a deep dive into the extraordinary life of Jijamata, Shivaji's mother. And we're drawing insights from the book Jijamata, Architect of Hindu Swarajya. Now, just to be clear, like always in our deep dives, we're looking at the ideas and the story as this specific source presents them. We're aiming to understand its perspective, not necessarily, endorsing every viewpoint.
Right, understanding the narrative offered. And the setting it paints is, well, stark. Imagine the Deccan heartland, a time of huge political upheaval, religious tension.
Yeah, powerful Muslim sultanates were dominant, and the source describes centuries of Hindu tradition being under, severe pressure.
Exactly. Temples desecrated, Brahmins humiliated, a real crushing of tradition and pride, according to this account.
And into this difficult world steps Jijabai, born into the Jadhav family of Devgiri, which became Daulatabad. Once powerful, they're facing hardship. And then profound personal tragedy strikes her.
Yes, her father and brother, brutally murdered by the Nizam Shahi Sultan. But the source argues, instead of breaking, she turned that suffering inward, then outward.
Transmuted it, you could say, into strength.
Into strength and into a vision, not just for herself, but, bigger. For a nation.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, right?
Absolutely, because Jijabai wasn't just a mother in this narrative. She was Shivaji's mentor, his guide, almost like his spiritual compass.
So cultivating a visionary, not simply a warrior.
Precisely. From when he was very young, the book says, Shivaji absorbed her deep hatred for injustice, her passion for dharma, righteous duty, and maybe most importantly, her powerful dream of Swarajya.
Swarajya,
yeah.
A sovereign Hindu kingdom, free from foreign rule. That's the core idea presented.
Yes, and what's fascinating is how the source portrays her foresight. It suggests she saw in her young son the potential for reviving a whole civilization.
Wow, that's a heavy burden for a mother and a son.
A huge dream, a dream for India to sort of rise from the ashes, reclaim its spirit, protect its culture. That's the picture painted.
So this wasn't just some abstract political idea for her then, it stemmed from something deeply personal.
Very much so. According to the source, it paints this vivid picture, her father and brother's murder. It says it etched a scar in her heart and ignited a fire of resistance.
Okay, so how did that intense personal grief, that fire, translate into, raising Shivaji? What specific ways did she use to instill such a grand vision in a young boy?
Well, what's really striking in this account is how intentional her mentorship seems. It wasn't just about teaching him to survive. It was about laying foundations for something completely new.
Right, not just reactive, proactive.
Exactly. So she didn't just tell him stories, she infused them. Lessons of bravery, strategy, purpose, drawing from ancient epics, local legends.
Making it relevant.
Festivals, celebrations, they weren't just parties. They were deliberate reminders of their heritage, celebrating figures who stood for resistance, for justice.
So reinforcing the culture constantly.
Constantly. Every prayer, especially mentioned, are those in temples like Tuljapur. They echoed this one purpose, Swarajya. The source really emphasizes this complete immersion for Shivaji.
Like every part of his young life was geared towards this idea.
Yeah, cultivating not just courage, but this deep sense of historical duty, cultural pride.
It's incredible, really, thinking about that weight of responsibility, shaping a boy who would challenge an empire, and doing it by focusing his mind not just on fighting, but on reclaiming a whole heritage. So the Maratha movement, based on this telling, it really began in those quiet moments, long before any swords were drawn.
That's the argument presented, yes. Her dream wasn't just for him to be powerful. It was for India itself to rise again and protect its culture.
So this foundational period under Jijabai's influence.
Steeped in her resolve, her strategic nurturing. The source suggests this was arguably the most crucial chapter in Shivaji's entire life, before the battles even started.
So wrapping this up then, what does this deep dive really tell us? It seems to reveal that Shivaji's life, before any public actions, might have been the most critical part. All because of the groundwork Jijabai laid.
Right.
The Maratha movement, in this view, truly began in the quiet strength of her vision. This woman who, as the source says, carved a king out of a boy and carried that dream of a free India long before almost anyone else dared to.
It's a powerful idea.
Definitely a powerful reminder. History doesn't always start with grand armies, does it?
Yeah.
Often it's these singular profound visions.
Exactly. And if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, Jijabai's story, as told here, really underscores how deeply personal things experiences, unwavering conviction can plant seeds for huge historical shifts.
Seeds that grow later.
Yeah, and it raises a question, maybe for you listening, how many big movements, significant changes in history actually started like this? In the quiet dedication of one person, shaping the mind, the spirit of a future leader, way before they step onto the public stage.
Unseen forces.
Right. What unseen forces might be shaping the next big shift around us right now? Cultivated through that kind of perseverance, that kind of clear vision, something to think